Hey everyone, so I'm doing Mac Miller today. If you are new here, then please read the description below. However, obviously this pertains a little bit differently since this person has passed away. Why I'm doing this video, I just felt called to do this. Not any other particular reason. As you know, if you have watched any of my videos before on celebrities, I like to tell you what I know about the person ahead of time. I'm aware that he is an artist, a singer. He had a very famous public relationship, and that's pretty much it, other than the way he had passed, because that was also very publicized, but that's the extent of it that I'm aware of, that I know about him. So earlier I was just feeling his energy and felt really gentle, very, 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 very gentle. And I just looked up a minute ago and, well, a moment ago, and I'm seeing repeating numbers. So the 111, 555, and then 122. So those might be significant, but like those numbers specifically. But what I'm also picking up on is what he's telling me is the frequency of his energy currently, in the fact that it's in alignment with healing and with source. That's what he's saying, with God. That a message to those who love him is, if there was any question of whether or not I am with God now, in spite of my struggles, that I am healing. I am moving towards my destined journey. And he's saying like how he has to pick back up from where he left off. That's what he's saying. I have to pick back up. This wasn't really, what he's saying is this wasn't really supposed to happen in the way that it did, in my perspective. Is like, I didn't think that this was the way my life was supposed to go. It's not like I had like true intentions of, or even like sincere premonitions of this happening. It's like maybe I would have thought it from time to time, or like I had concerns, like logically I would think this, but it wasn't ever really my true intention of anything ever going this way. And he's highlighting the fact that like he had techniques set up in his life, like to fight this, like to fight his battles. And so there was a sincere effort on his end to readjust the way that he was living. And how he's saying, like, you know how some people, like in my life, like they say that they have intentions of changing and they don't really mean it, or they don't have like the proper things set up in place for it to go like successfully, like go according to what their intentions are. It's like I not only had good intentions, but I was putting it into action. And so I didn't so it's just he just didn't expect it to be like this. But as he has crossed over, there is awareness, and this is part of his healing. This is part of him connecting to this higher source, to God, where he's saying, now I see that everything unfolds in like this divine plan, and I understand why this happened. It is the consequences of everyone's choices, but at the same time, and he's pointing back to something I've said before, where he's saying, like, you know, that idea that you said where like no tragedy or like no pain, no suffering ever goes to waste. It's never in vain. Like, God will use your struggles or your pains in a way to heal things or to learn things. Like, it's never just, you know, just that. There's like a deeper purpose to that, a deeper meaning to that. And he's showing me a car. It looks like, it feels blue. Like, I'm not seeing it, but there's this feeling of blue, and it feels like one of those old muscle cars, like a Chevy, something like that. I don't really know anything about cars, but like 60s muscle cars, 70s muscle cars, something. I can't tell if there's a roof on it or not, but the feeling I get of that is nostalgia. This feeling of, in that moment, like, go back to that moment in my life as Mac. And that was so beautiful to me. That was like the new Mac Miller. Like, that was like the coming of the dawn after darkness, where everything just, I was so full of hope. I was so encouraged. And I just felt so at peace and so energized for my life and for my future. And if I could just like stretch that memory, if I could just slow time down in that memory, I would live in that feeling, that energy forever, because it's that feeling of resilience, of hope, of excitement and appreciation. Really a time in my life where I really felt like I was living in the moment. It's like I wasn't anxious, I wasn't depressed, I wasn't all these things that felt like they were capturing me and like capturing my soul and holding on to me. It's like I ran past that, you know. It's like those were clinging on to me, and I ran so fast that they just fell off of me. I wasn't worried. I wasn't thinking about things that happened in the past or anything. It just felt right. And like the things that had held me back in the past, I felt like I could overcome them. And I felt like I had a really good core group around me, like good people around me who really cared about me. And I just had so many ideas. And that was a really good moment for me. And he's explaining to me, and I'm verifying this with my guardian angels, because to me, I have never fully been aware that like those who have crossed over could feel sadness necessarily, because to be sad, it kind of feels hopeless in my eyes. This is me talking. This is me kind of, I'm like halfway in the reading, halfway out. So from my perspective, it's difficult to kind of grasp the idea that someone who's crossed over, who is in the process of healing, or who could see things from a different perspective than we can in our limited scope of being a human being, is like they can have what I would attribute as human emotions, right? Because it's a lack of understanding. Like when we're sad, we don't really understand like what he was saying of like this divine purpose and everything that happens. And so to me, that would, in some ways, it would indicate that I'm being intervened by something that is not of source. And I'm verifying with my guardian angels that this is Mac. But what he's explaining, it's not that I'm not totally grasping it. It's the fact that the complexities of it is a little different. Like he's showing me, like, I would call them neuron transmitters, because the way it's showing is like spider webs, and it's kind of showing like the brain and how like basically it's like the connecting links and how it basically he's saying that okay, he's saying that as he's crossed over, there is a part of him. It's not a part of him. It's like he's saying there's no way to delay your progress. Like there's no way to slow time. I'm putting in quotations because it's a different concept of time. Time in reference to like the soul's time, right? Like not this human representation, like this earth representation of time. But there's no way to actually like stall your progress. Like things will continuously change. And he's giving me he's showing me a flower, like the life cycle of a flower. And so as death occurs, that it seemingly looks as if there's no more flower, right? Like it looks like it ceases to exist. And he's saying, don't look for the seed of the flower, but look at the world. And he's saying, look at the world. Whether that flower comes back again as a different flower through the seeds spread around, it doesn't matter. Look bigger. Look at the world. The world is still existing. The world is still evolving. There's so much happening during the time of this flower, and on their own time, right? Like the life cycle of a flower is a completely different life cycle as a dolphin, but they can both coexist. Do you see what I'm saying? So he's explaining that concept as the concept of him. And so he essentially is saying that there's his identity as Mac Miller is in essence frozen, quotations, because it's still evolving. So as that identity of Mac Miller, because we are more than just this one core identity, that is still here. He's not bound in the sense that there's like some terrible thing happening, like some sinister, like why are you bound to like a ghost? It's not like that. It's because he's waiting for something to happen. Essentially, is he's watching over people. It could just be a person. It feels like if it were people, it would be like 3 to 4 people max. Like there's essentially so he's the way he's explaining it is like, if you go back to that flower and you look at him as the flower, and as the seeds have dispersed, he is now he would identify that Mac Miller as those seeds. Like, I'm still the flower, but I am in a different form, and I can spread and touch the world in a different way. I can be in multiple places at once, and I can represent myself in multiple ways, like in a more spiritual way, obviously. And I am also the world and everything that exists within the world, and those are the other, that's how I imparted my soul. So I'm still evolving in those ways, but this part of me has dispersed along the world because I'm still watching over people. And that is the evolution of Mac Miller, is that's a realization that I had as I crossed of why this happened in the way that it had. And as many times over as I could wish that it never happened in the way that it did, and that there was this feeling of initially of I don't understand why it happened the way I did, or why it happened the way it did, or like who done this could have. Because it feels like there's a female. Because what I heard was like, to finish my sentence, he was like, who could have done this to me? And I was shown a male and a female, and the female, like, the way her energy is like going in and out. So she's like close to that guy. I don't know what that guy looks like. I might have seen him. It's like this girl's like going in and out, and so I don't know if it's like a text message or a phone call, or like I don't know if this is like a coincidence or not, but there's a gnat in my room now, and it's crawling all over the camera. It's like crawling all over the camera. I've never had this happen before. But that's literally like how her energy feels, is like a little gnat. It's like, I don't know. Why am I focusing on that? Explain to me. Because this isn't something that has never been explained or solved necessarily. This is just like verifying for other people, like overly verifying for people who know this or who suspect this, that this is true, like this is real. Because it's more of just like speculation, or the way that the way things were talked about or discussed or something is like, something about, because I don't know, okay, because he brought me to this, and I don't know if this other lady's name's Natalie. Not this, but I don't know why that's but there's this case, the Chris Watts, right? And he had the 2 babies and the wife, and he's tying it back to that. No? Yes. Okay. Hear me out. He's saying it's not that, which I agree, but he's saying to like make sure that you guys understand this. Okay. So allegedly there's this mistress that Chris Watts was with, and she never got in trouble for that, because they ruled her to like not be involved whatsoever. So he's somehow comparing the two, not the situation of like Chris Watts, like not that crime necessarily, it's that relationship or like the nature of what went on between them that motivated Chris to do those things. It's like he's saying like basically pay attention to that relationship, not necessarily the crime itself. So that's what he's highlighting. And again, that's the mistress. I don't know her. I don't remember her name. I don't know if it was Natalie or what. Like, I'm not sure. But that's how he's bringing her to my mind, is the Nat and then that lady and that relationship. How that relates, I don't know. A couple other things I'll say, and then I'll end it with like a couple cards. So, let me think. There's a message that he wants to send across to someone. It's essentially an apology, and also it's like, I don't ever want you to continue your life questioning whether or not my love for you was real, or like my intentions towards you were genuine and were real. And I really appreciate and I understand that you understood me, and you know me, like you knew me, and like where my heart is and was. And there's this feeling from him where he's like acknowledging. I just saw the word soulmates. I saw soulmates. So this is a female that he's identifying as like his soulmate, and he's saying that there's a recognition of him almost seemingly not knowing what he wants. It's like, you knew that I wanted you, I loved you, I wanted to protect you, but it's like I didn't, in the moment of being Mac Miller in my life, I just felt so, there's a part of me, like I put you on a pedestal where you belonged, like you were, and you are the queen of my life, like you're everything that I would ever desire in a person, and it's true that you're just too much for me, like you're too much to handle, because like how could I ever live up to that? Like how could I ever make you happy? How could I ever like with all my problems and all my insecurities and everything that felt like it was holding me back, like how could I ever be as perfect for you as I felt you were so perfect? Like I felt you were so just like nothing's wrong with you. You could do no wrong. Like charming, witty, like you're funny, you're beautiful, you're smart, you smell really nice. And here I am, I was always just it's like just trying to get by. And so he's saying like I would act outside of myself. And it probably came across to you, or it did come across to you, like I didn't know what I wanted. And in some ways that's true. I didn't know what I wanted because I felt like I could never really live up to what I felt my standards for you were. And so by blocking, essentially, like, I was blocking myself from you, then it kind of, like, he's saying, like, he was an idiot. Like, I feel like an idiot. I felt like an idiot. I feel like an idiot because it's like I let my struggles get the best of me when it comes to that. Like, that was a war, that was a battle I could never really win because, like, when I deny myself of you, like, from you, by saying that I could never be enough for you, like, that was really how I felt, then I didn't feel like we were in alignment with each other. I didn't feel like we could be a good match, and then I would try and find that in other ways through other people, and it was more of just like because I felt more comfortable there, or I felt like I could get pieces from different people that could fulfill that part of me that I felt wasn't enough for you. Like, it was building my confidence or building my ego, because looking at you, I felt so inferior. And I know that's on my end, and I know that you tried everything you could to make me feel differently or feel better, and you know that caused a lot of discord between us. But like, I'm wiser now, like, I get it, and there's a message saying he's like, I hope you get that too now. Like, I hope you understand the reasons why this had to happen the way it did, or why it did go the way it did between us. And like, I there's this feeling I get where he's acknowledging, like, a female basically saying, like, well, you said you cared about them, like a particular person. You said you cared, like, you said you cared about them, or you said that you cared about her, and, you know, like, then what would that mean? Like, then why would you, if what was said just now were true, then why, back when you were here, you kept telling me and telling other people how much you cared about this other person or other people? And he's acknowledging, again, this feeling of idiocy. Like, you know, it's not that like, that is true, I did care about them, but it was to the capacity that I was even able to care about another person. Like, I can't care about you more than what I was capable of at the time, because I kept blocking myself off from that. I never felt like I was good enough for that. I never felt like how could I, like, of course I can care about people. It's kind of like saying, like, well, he's saying, like, you know how I am. You know that I'm hearing a decent guy, like, you know I'm decent, or like, you know that I'm like, I feel for everyone, like, I have feelings for everyone, like, you know that I'm that kind of person. But that's the extent of it. Like, of course I'm a genuine, decent guy. But there was limited capacity of what he could express, genuinely express, because of all the things that were happening in his life and where his mental place was. Of, like, I'm hearing the song. It's an old song by Drake. I don't know the title, but he's saying like, I just want to be successful. That interrupted the train of thoughts. That song by Drake. I'll try and link it below if I can think. But anyway, basically he wants that person to eventually feel complete peace in their heart. And he hopes that they feel that peace in their heart. There's a new, I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but when I'm going to release this, it's by the way, I usually tell the date, it's June 13th today. So, the new Avatar movie is going to be coming out the end of the year, and there's a significance to that movie here in this reading, and there's a part of him that he's praying and wishing and desiring for there to be peace in her heart, to fully forgive him, and to understand. It's this feeling of, you know why, like, you know me, like, you, but I think there's doubts because of the things that he would have verbally said. It's like the things that I would have said to you ring in your mind and instill doubt, when in truth you know who I am, you know me at my core. And you know me in spirit because I'm still here, and you are part of the reason why I am still identifying in this realm. It's because I need to watch over you. Like, you are my angel. You're my soulmate. You're my reason for being. And I could never love anyone to the same capacity that I could ever love you, because it's just impossible. It's not a possibility, and you know this, and you understand this, and I want you to keep that in your mind. Like, there can only be you for me, and vice versa. And in that knowing, I want you to continue your life. And this is a significant message for everyone, really, but it's directed towards those that had genuinely cared about him. He showed me two things, because I'm asking who cares, like who are the ones that care about you, like who are they, and he's showing me the toys, jacks, you know, those little metal toys, and you take a bouncy ball and you bounce the ball and you try and pick up all the jacks that you can. And so the image that I get are throwing a bunch of jacks down and then bouncing the ball and then grabbing like a handful. So the signifier there, I feel, is like, it's just a handful of people. So it's like, I had a lot of people around me, but there's only a select few that were really my true friends. And he's saying how, like, that circle is so deep and, like, strong, and there's the representation of how you couldn't bring in more than what you are capable of. It would have to be very few at a time, because then that would bring down the entire group. You know, it's like when you bounce that ball and you try and get too many, then that ruins the entire game, right? Like, then you lose. So it has to be done strategically. And so it's like a very tight core group. And there's just a lot of love there, and compassion. He has a lot of, the feeling is compassionate. and just wanting them to know that he cares. It's like, I just want you guys to know that I do care so much about you. And I don't want you to, like, there's an apology, like, I'm sorry I let you down, but I don't want you to feel like I did. I don't want you to feel like I let you down. And hoping that you forgive me. And that with this understanding of the greater purpose of things, to not hold yourself back and to not hold yourself accountable for things that are in the past. Just continue to carry on forward and don't feel remorse or regret for moving on or moving forward. That's the best thing that you can do, because in your heart, like in your spirit, you know what's meant for you will always come back and will always be there for you. So don't deny yourself the privilege of living this life. Like, I will always be here, and I want you to really enjoy life and to feel the full capacity of what beauty this world could bring. You know, there's so much potential and beauty that I want you to experience for me. I want you to do that for me. Like, live in my honor. And like, I know your heart. Like, I know that you wouldn't forget about me. I know that, like, I know. I just know. And like, he really wants everyone that's close to him to really be happy. And don't hold yourself back because you're hanging on to me. Like, I will always, I'm here. So you get what I'm saying. The color green, I don't know, is significant. I'm gonna point this out to you guys. So I had my head turned the other way, and normally with some of my readings, I'll like scribble to try and kind of get to the higher realms faster. And so I got this one, then I got this green, and for those of you who know, I'm not really big into like crystals as far as like their meanings or anything like that. However, I have this one that I don't know, I really liked it. I felt called to it. And I feel called to point this out. I think this part got chipped because my cat flicked it and like literally across the room, but it kind of looks like an angel wing. I swear this was like more like a wing before, because it looks like I broke it, or my cat broke it. But anyway, it's an Angelite, and it's also green, right? And you know, I've had this for quite some time, and it's interesting that soulmates came through, because there was one other time I did a reading. It wasn't on the channel. It's something unrelated. I know it says someone who had passed away, and they're soulmates, and Angelite, like this particular one, kept like calling for me to point it out. So there's an association there, and I felt this before I even saw that, so I don't know. Anyway, so I'm gonna pull these two cards. These are just gonna be like final messages, because they explicitly have reading, like writings on it. So just to kind of close it out, this is I'm pulling specifically like guardian angels in conjunction with Mac Miller. Is there anything that you would like to like final impart on here? Well, that's several, but okay. I'll go ahead and read these out, because I'll leave that one. Okay. So, let me just read these. Courage. Dare to be different, to make mistakes. Create, for it is in creation that you exist. In this world of dreams that stem from the eternal heart, you are one with all creation. All is possible. Go forth and be true to yourself, for it is only through being true to you that you can be true to others. Dreams. This is a wondrous time of healing and positive transformation. Embrace life for each moment and keep focused on your dreams. Retain the purity of your vision and it will draw success to you. All you ever wished for, even that which seemed a distant dream, is about to manifest. And I think these are especially significant to whomever I felt he was identifying with. I think that's a direct message there also to her. All is possible when your heartfelt vision is in alignment with your values. Believe in your dream, love it, breathe it, and feel it in your thoughts. Or let it fill in your thoughts. But you must take action also. Work towards it a little each day until it becomes your primary action. Dreams are first envisioned, but then they must be built. You will succeed if you work at it. Be bold and strong, for you are the creator of your own destiny. Look within, you will find everything you need there. Burst forth from your cocoon and fly. The sky is the limit if you follow your heart and your inner guidance. Listen to what others say, but do not blindly follow their advice. You are a beautiful soul. Look within and you will see it. There is a pearl in your heart. Close your eyes and feel it. The most precious thing is inside you. Calm your mind, meditate, and you will feel your soul's infinite spiritual realm. In looking within, you will never go without. Do not discount your imagination, for it is through an inspired thought that something beautiful is created. You will soon be inspired by an inner vision. Your imagination is real. It can and will become your reality if you trust in the power of love. The imagination is a magical and creative force full of endless possibility. So there's a really big message here set forth from him for those of you who are watching, and towards this particular person that he wants to directly message about really believing in yourself and having the courage to believe in your dreams and to take those ideas, those visions, and put them to work, put them into your life. Just believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself, and it's okay to draw from other people's wisdom, but also ultimately analyze and believe in your inner wisdom as well. So that's what I see here, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.